You have the right to not ask other people's opinions about what you're deciding. You do not have to go to your friends, to your sister, to your brother, even to your spouse when you are starting to figure out what you're supposed to do in life. You just got to first know that. I'm not saying you're going to bulldoze your family and then pick them up and shock and awe. And I'm not saying that, but you don't need to go and get permission to think. And I think, because I've done this many times, that you think you go to get advice from people that have never done what you're trying to do, have never thought like you're trying to think, have never had experience with readings and studies that we do, and the goal setting and the self image vision, all the things that we do. No one's done that. No one's even had my own personal life experience. They may have watched me do it, right?
At some point, you realize the numbers you're hitting aren't measuring the life you're living. Welcome to Quit the Quota. I'm Darryl and Miedico.
And I am Marya Ryan. This is the podcast for professionals, especially sales professionals, who've done what they were supposed to do and still found themselves questioning whether that version of success really fits.
Each episode features honest conversations with people who stepped outside the traditional mold, along with reflections from our own years in the corporate world.
Quit the Quota isn't about quitting ambition. It's about defining success on your terms. Hi, Darryl.
Marya, what's going on? How are you today?
I'm doing great, but I'm noticing a little something different about your face today.
A little something different?
Over there.
Little
Yeah,
something different today?
Yeah, it's a little something different. You're missing something on your face.
My face got much lighter.
Does it feel lighter? It looks like it.
It feels actually. So it's funny. At the end of every fall, I grow my beard out. So for those that don't know, I know you know. I officiate football, and it's kind of an old school thing, but it's like an unwritten rule in many officiating circles, many officiating sports to be clean shaven, right? And it makes sense, right? If you were a coach and you showed up to a game and you saw your officials even looking like this, right? Where it's like a little bit of scruff, right?
Yeah.
But a beard, you would subliminally, you may reconsider their professionalism, right?
Sure.
Are they clean shaven? Do they look the part? Are they in shape? Is their uniform nice and neat? Is it tucked in? Is it all these little things? They do matter. So, whenever you see me super clean shaven, it's because I'm in some sort of football capacity because I do like to have a little scruff or a little bit of beard going on. So, and then just last fall, I started this a little mustache. I think I saw
Mustache, yeah.
I think I saw a little too much of Top Gun 2, and everyone had a mustache in Top Gun 2. So
Oh, that's good though. All right, so you officiate football. So you just did that then. You must have had to shave it because you had to do a little officiating.
last weekend had a inter squad scrimmage at a school nearby, at a local
Yeah.
school, and
Awesome.
it was great. It was just great to be back on the field. Be around the sport, make some calls, make some no calls, watch some football, and we had a great crew. We actually had a phenomenal crew for this particular game. A
Oh,
bunch of
that's
great
good.
guys around us, and the bosses were there too. We had two of our
Ooh.
assigners, two of our superiors that
Mhm.
that handle all of that. So it was a lot of fun, and the goal for me right now is to move up. So hopefully they saw
Cool.
something that they liked, and you leave it out there and you see what happens. It's just enjoy where you are now. I'm very much enjoying where I am now.
So being a parent and watching like my kids and all that stuff, like I've always thought to myself, I could never, and that's even like at a low level. You're now at like collegiate level. I cannot imagine what it is like to be on the football field and knowing so well, like I've been to professional games, you get the boo, all those things. Like, how do you deal with that? Because I don't think I could deal with that. That just feels like a really, I don't know. You gotta have skin like a rhino, I think.
So you talk about criticism, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Bad
Yes.
call, ref.
Yeah.
No, like, all the things. I know you've heard
So,
it and then some.
well, I mean, the joke with officiating in general is that at the end of a good game, like you did a great job and the teams decided the game and you didn't decide it, and
Mm,
you called everything that you were supposed to call, you left everything that you were supposed to leave, and everything was a great game. If it was a great game, good game, great game. If it was a good game, great game, okay, then at best 50% of the fans are going to love you, 50% are going to hate you.
yeah.
Right.
I mean,
So
that
you just
makes
kind of
sense.
you just kind of go into that mentality, right?
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
yeah,
maybe hate's a strong word, but it's like guaranteed that, no matter what, the losing team is probably going to have one or two things where they just didn't agree. They didn't agree with the call, right? I
sure.
don't I don't I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
That's okay. That's fine.
sure, yeah,
So, you're spot on. You have to get to this point where it's weird for officials. We care. We 100% care. If we kick a call, nobody knows it in that moment more than the official that kicked the call. Right?
yeah, of
It's like,
course. Oh,
oh,
sure.
shoot.
You can feel it, you know it.
You
Yeah,
know it. You know
yeah,
it. Um, but so knowing that we care, I'll preface with that. Um, we get to a point where we just, we take the feedback that makes sense, but we leave the rest. We leave
yeah,
the rest. And by and large, the majority of those around us, right? Especially fans, especially parents, certainly players,
mhm,
assistant coaches to a lesser extent, and then head coaches even to a lesser extent than that, right? Because,
sure.
but even head coaches have no idea what this side of the game looks like, right?
Of
And
course.
there's a level of indifference to the comments,
Mhm,
you know, because the reality is that you probably have no idea what it takes to be in this position and
right,
make this call and put years of study into rules and years of study into mechanics,
yeah,
and being in the right spot at the right time is not by accident. It's by preparation.
mhm.
um and you probably don't fully realize that, and that's okay.
No, and you're absolutely right. I mean, the collective there first of all, just to understand a sport. So I'm just starting to really understand lacrosse. I'm laughing. I don't really understand it yet. Like I need the Lacrosse for Dummies book. If they have it, I'm going to go buy it because I don't understand a lot about just the game itself, right? And then you have the rules within the game and then you have certain circumstances and nuances within each rule and then you have to make split decisions as a ref, right? That
Hmm.
like really instantaneously. And so just like anything, I'm sure, but it just made me think like, man, that's just you got to really be you got to know what you're supposed to be doing out there and pretending like, other people's opinions don't matter as much at that moment.
They can't you
Yeah.
can't be a people pleaser in that moment. It
Yeah.
takes one of the most important attributes for an official is to have guts. Right? You
Gut.
need to have guts because
I
you're gonna
like
you're
it.
you're gonna have moments where you're gonna have to make a call that,
Yeah.
whether it's a call or a no call, you're still making a call, right? So
Yeah.
you're gonna have moments where you're gonna have that quick, what do we got? And you can't be swayed, influenced. You're locked in. This is what I've got. Whether it's whatever it is in the moment, this is what I've got. This is what we're going with,
Right.
right? And then there's a team capacity too amongst officials, right? Which is a
Sure.
lot of fun. But
Oh, yeah,
but
that's true, I
because
bet, 'cause
because we understand each other, we understand it's a game of angles. So on the field with an officiating crew of 7 to 8 officials, we may get together and get information from someone that we respect and trust, and we
mhm,
know that is going to be looking out on our behalf, and
sure.
that's the opinion that we care about, right? So, um,
Yeah, you all have a collective goal as the group of refs.
yes, we want to get it right. At the end of the
Right.
day, no matter what you think about any sports official in any sport, at the end of the day, they want to get it right. That's
So
that's the key.
you said the word guts, and it's making me think of a couple situations that we had this week,
Mhm.
where a couple of our, mentorship clients, and we were discussing with them actually, this is great, the fear of criticism. And their outside influences that were starting to impact their decisions. One of them almost came to a screeching halt with something. And you were like, "Yeah, dude, we gotta unpack this." And another one is just was starting to make some decisions that was going to maybe undermine his value a little bit.
Mhm.
And I'd love to kind of unpack that with you a bit to discuss that because I think it's really important. As you just described, you have a goal, right? As a ref, you have a goal, you have a collective goal, but you yourself, Darryl Miedico has a goal once you step before you get to the field, right? When you're about to go do this. And then making sure the outside influences aren't impacting your goal of,
Yes.
of achieving that goal,
Yes.
right? So I
Yes.
think it would be really good for us to dive into that because it's so common. It's something that we deal with. And it's not necessarily always a person. It could be something else that's influencing your goal.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's one of the one of the 7 basic fears of
Mhm.
humanity, right? It's the fear of
Yep.
criticism,
Right.
right? So it's a great sort of segue into this exact topic from where we started. Um,
No beard.
no beard. We start with no beard, and we get into the fear of criticism. Look at that. So,
That's how we roll around here, guys.
as a football official, obviously you can't have a fear of criticism. You're going to be criticized. You're going to
Yeah,
be criticized by fans, parents, coaches, players. You're going to be criticized even by your own officiating squad. You're being
sure.
criticized by your assigner, right? So
Yeah.
you need to be okay with criticism, right? Criticism isn't a
Mhm.
bad thing; it's a good thing, and you
Mhm.
need to be okay with it. It parallels very much directly into this world of entrepreneurship
Mhm.
and you know those that are thinking about making the jump from the corporate environment to entrepreneurship because I see a lot, and you got the 2 examples you just spoke about. We should talk about
Yeah.
those a little bit today. We will. I see a lot that the one of the predominant fears that slow people down from living life by their design, from
Mhm.
on their terms, is the fear of criticism.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what is so and so going to say, or how will I be
Yep.
perceived in society, or you know, how will
What's
my
my spouse
parents,
gonna say?
my
Yeah,
spouse, right,
family. Yeah, the spouse
right?
one is a huge one.
Huge one
Huge.
because then that starts to bleed into another basic fear, which we won't talk about today. It's probably good for another episode. Is the fear of lost love? It's another
Yep.
one of the 7 basic fears, right?
Mhm.
Um, so the fear of criticism is an absolute just killer. It's a killer to dreams. It's a killer to progress. So you talked about the one example. Let's talk about that first example for a little bit of the student who um he's an entrepreneur.
Yep.
He's still in his corporate gig, his W-2.
Yep.
Um and for him, he has a phenomenal opportunity coming up. He has a phenomenal opportunity with a potential client, and he has an existing portfolio today in which he is providing phenomenal value to
Mhm.
his current clients. They are appreciative, and they
Mhm.
see value in his service and his offering for what he provides at the rate that he provides it for. And now he's got this new opportunity. And his question to the group was, "Hey, I've got this great opportunity, and I'm wondering if I should reduce my rate
Yeah.
to move the deal along."
It froze us in our tracks. We were like, "Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. This opportunity is bigger than he's ever had, too."
Yes. Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
It's effectively certainly double, maybe triple in terms of
Right.
of contract value, right?
Right.
What his biggest one today. Yes.
Which he's been working towards these goals to get these types of opportunities to come in. Now it's here, and his reaction is to, this dumb down his value.
and it's
Undermine his value. I mean, dumb down, maybe,
yeah. No, no, I
but
think no,
right?
yeah, the same thing.
I think it was so fascinating to hear that because I'm like, you have the opportunity in front of you. You've been working towards this. Why would you switch to, well, in order to get this deal to close, that means I have to do less now. I have to take away from me in order to get this to close.
It was a very odd paradigm that we were able to dig into with him specifically on it, I shouldn't say it's odd, it's common, but it was
Oh
odd
yeah.
because we've been working together for a while now. That's why it was odd. So we you know,
Yeah,
we
it was
we work
surprising.
we've been working together with him, and it was odd for it to come up now, but,
Right.
fears the 7 basic fears are insidious. They never go away. They're always there. You just the more work that you do on your
Yep.
mindset, the more you become aware of them, and the
Yep.
better you have, techniques to overcome them, right? So we started to dig in with him a little bit, and in this case, for this particular example, it's for a deal. But this, if someone's listening to the show today and they're saying, "Well, I don't have a deal today," right? And I'm interested in
Yep.
getting into entrepreneurship, right? Just pivot to that, right? Because
Right.
it's the same thing. It's
Yep.
if you are in a position today where you have a great job or you have a job, or maybe it's not a great job, or whatever it might be, you have a job, but you
Yep.
have this calling for entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
and you have an opportunity that presents itself,
Mhm.
but then the fear of criticism slips in and you decide to either not do it or inhibit yourself or slow yourself down or, oh, dare I say, borderline sabotage yourself, right?
Yeah.
These are things that
Yeah.
are going to be crucial just to take as a blanket statement of like, recognize it and see it. Because
Mhm.
for him, we started asking the questions of him. I'm just saying, like, well, why would you do that? Why would you discount your rate? And his answer was really more around, well, it's a bigger opportunity, it's doing more revenue, and um, I don't know, I'm still making enough money, on it, I'm making more money at a lower rate, even than my existing portfolio,
Yep.
and I my question in that moment was, well, is it a bigger home? Is it a bigger property? Is it more guest count? Which it was. I go,
Mhm.
okay. So is it safe to say that you're going to have more that you have to do from a cleaning and maintenance and guest experience, and just dealing with that? Is there more work now because of that reason? And he acknowledged that there was. I said, okay, well, so there's that. Um, do you feel as though you're going to be working less diligently on this? And all of a sudden that you're so much more efficient that your costs have gone down on how to
Mhm.
operate properties that you've been doing already? And the answer was no, no, no. I'm going to work, if anything, harder. Okay, uh, okay. And do you believe that you're giving value at the current rate? That was the key for it. Like he was with me up in it, and then when I really was able to dive in deep on it, do you believe that you're providing value today to your current clients at the current rate? Do they believe it? Do you believe it? Does everyone and came together on that? And he's absolutely, absolutely, I am, and I know I am, and my clients know that I am. I said, okay, so what are we talking about? Why would you change anything here? Why would you do that to yourself? And I said, not to mention, you haven't even gone deep into this process yet.
Right.
Right? So, set your starting point, and then if, you get to the finish line and, to make the deal happen, for the client's carrying costs, or if there's a very specific reason,
Mhm.
you have to shave a point or two, then okay, like I can live with that, right?
Yeah, but to
But
start coming right out of the gate,
yeah.
setting the standard, because what I felt when I was hearing this is it was, we're talking about the fear of criticism, which is outside influences a lot of the time, but you can have your own fear of criticism internally, which meaning it's almost like imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
So at that moment, when you have been working towards a goal and there are steps that are starting to come and it's starting to come to you, all of a sudden you're like, I don't know. Like we talked about this with me a couple weeks ago or a couple podcasts ago about like, you know, I'm having opportunities come up. And when the opportunity is there, having the belief in yourself to know that I can do this.
Mhm.
I'm great. I'm good. I can do this. I'll figure this out. And it was so interesting to me to hear him say that because I was leaning more towards some of that is that he was like, okay, he's got some imposter syndrome a little bit. He's like, well, I've never done this before. And also that fear of loss, like if I don't do this,
Yeah.
that opportunity is walking away.
And that was the piece that I think it's important to dive into. Then we went deep on exactly that, right?
Yep.
And if you remember, right, it was so why are you even considering this? And then he goes, I guess I just don't want there to be conflict. I'm giving the Reader's Digest version now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had to dig a little bit deeper, but because he didn't say it
Yep.
like that. But it's like we ultimately got
Ultimately.
to I don't want there to be conflict, which to me
Yep.
screams I don't want there to be criticism.
Oh, 100%.
I don't want there to be
Because
conflict. I don't want
yes,
there to be
100%.
criticism.
When
I
there's
just want
conflict, there's
to
criticism
yes. I just want to
automatically.
submit this over.
Yep. Yep.
And he says, "Great, let's go." Even if it's
Yep.
at my detriment.
Yeah.
Like,
When you do that though, when you do that, you are actually setting a stage of affirming within your subconscious mind. We've talked about paradigms before, but that again, it is a belief system that you don't even realize everything that's in there. Some stuff you'll know, some stuff you're well aware of, some stuff you don't know. But by undermining his value, he was affirming the negative emotion and feeling and vibration, which was only going to then continue to bring in that kind of stuff. That stuff blows my mind. That blows my mind. And you're like, no way. And I'm like, yes, way. Yes, way. 100%. What you decide, and the moment that you just pull back and you're like, ah, I'm gonna make this decision and I'm gonna dial down my value. I'm going to do this because I'm afraid of conflict, which will lead to criticism. That I'll win this by getting this. So that's winning. But
mhm,
you're actually in conflict inside of your subconscious mind.
yes.
You're creating conflict there. Your subconscious mind does not care. It does not care what's real. It doesn't care what you tell it. It doesn't care if it's fake. It does not care. So if you're creating a scenario where I'm putting my fists together here, that's what's going on inside. And then guess what's going to take over more? The programming that's already in there. So if you're
Mhm.
bringing conflict, creating it by undermining your own value, you are going to have given more power to the programming that you don't want.
Now, Maria, how do you think it's a great that's powerful right there, by the way, for everyone. How do you think that applies to someone who is considering a life of entrepreneurship?
So I wanted you to go back to why do you want to have a life of entrepreneurship? First, just go back and ask yourself that question. You are going to have doubts. You are going to sit there and go, well, how am I going to make this work? I still have a W 2 because, or whatever job you have, because you have bills to pay. And maybe you're going to build this side hustle on the side as a gateway to stepping out. I would then say, you have to get a little edge on yourself every single day. Just do something small. Doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to. I mean, when Darryl and I started this, and there's still stuff that we're developing. I don't know all of the how. I don't know. Darryl doesn't know. We're figuring some stuff as we go, but what we are doing is we're taking small actionable items or actionable steps towards that goal. So if you're looking to step into entrepreneurship, first, why do you want that? Get real clear on why you want to step into entrepreneurship. What is it that you really do want to do? I don't care what it is. Maybe it's a landscaping business because you're phenomenal at it. You're phenomenal at it. Okay, so what can you do that's just a little tiny edge on building that business today that gives you some belief, that gives you some strength, and that gives you something to start to work for? Because if you're just going to sit there and think about it, it's not coming 1-800 build a business. I mean, that'd be awesome. If someone wants to create that,
$1 million idea
I,
right there.
I mean, seriously. And
Billion
it's
dollar idea.
delivered by, yeah. Okay, maybe we should talk about that. But you know what I'm trying to say. You
Yeah.
have to get an edge on
You
yourself. That's
you
that's what I would say to
you
start
have
with.
to I'm gonna bring it down to 2 words. I have to say them in statements, but actually I'll say it in words first. Decision,
Mhm.
action.
Yep.
You have to make a decision,
Yes.
and then you have to create action. You have to do
Actually,
something.
one more before that. You gotta know what it is. You gotta have desire.
Yep. Yep.
Desire, decision, action.
Yep.
Because you can make a decision and it's you're just throwing darts at a board. No, get clear. Get
Mhm.
clear on what you want. But yeah, I'd say there's one additional one in there.
Yeah. Well, that was the first one you said. That was
Yep.
that was the why do you want to do it?
Why?
What's your desire, right?
Yeah.
So, I know for me, my desire was to never be in a situation where a company could just arbitrarily
Mhm.
take away my income at any
Mhm.
given moment and leave me in a
Yeah.
position where my family is severely negatively impacted.
Yeah.
That was my desire to never feel that way ever again. And then the decision was, well, I'm going to go start a business. And here's what I would like to do.
Right.
And then it was, to your point, it was just, you know, a little edge every day on myself. Just, okay, well, now I'm gonna go invest into this program, to this mastermind. Now I'm gonna go and I remember when I first started, it was right around November, and it was Black Friday was coming up, and I bought 10 cameras, 10 locks, 10 like
I
10 of
love that.
everything that I would need to get properties going, because I said I can buy it at a discount right now,
Yeah. I love
right?
that.
And it's going to be sitting in my office somewhere in that area, was where they sit
Staring
now,
at you,
staring at me
blinking.
as a reminder. Hey, you
Yep.
just invested $3,000 into equipment over here. Every day that it sits, that's a waste of money. Go put those into a property somewhere. And
Amazing.
that like making the decision just to buy the equipment and having it stare at me was the little edge on myself, that as
Right.
soon as I was done with my W-2 that day, right? As soon as it was
Mhm.
lunchtime, right? As soon as I had a little
Yeah.
time in the day, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm back on it. I'm back on it, looking for my next client. Let's go.
Yeah, and if you're sitting there going, "Okay, does it have to be a financial action?" No, it doesn't have to be a financial action. Like Darryl mentioned, he joined a mastermind group, but there's other groups, there's
Mhm.
other environments that you can put yourself in Facebook groups or local societies or whatever it is that's going to feed the type of folks that are what you want to be doing.
Yep.
Learn from that. Ask them questions. A lot of entrepreneurs are willing to sit down with you and just say, "Would you mind just taking 30 minutes having a cup of coffee with me?" I know we would. I know we
Mhm.
do. If someone is asking a question about like, what should I do? You're already that's taking an edge on yourself. You're
Yep.
just starting to absorb and to learn because you're learning from someone that's already doing it.
Yep. You have to remove the fear of criticisms. And the best way to do that is get around like minded people who won't criticize you. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not bad to have coaching, right? And someone to say, I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it that way, right? Because you do want to receive positive criticisms. You want to take the good with the good, and like,
Mhm.
oh, that's good. Thank you for picking up on that. I got that is something I should tweak up. But you don't want the negative criticisms, right? And to get yourself in a group, a cohort, right? Whether it's something that is free or something that's paid, makes
Yeah.
all the difference.
Huge. And they're going to be encouraging you because and I'm hoping when you guys listen to these podcasts that you feel the same way, even though we're not all sitting together, but we want you to feel encouraged. If you get off and you're like, oh, You know that feeling. You know when you're jazzed up and you're ready to go do something with that emotion. Do it. When you're feeling it, go do it. The fear of criticism, when it's coming from other people, it's generally their own fears that are talking. So I want to dive into that other client of ours, because
Let's do it.
the first one we just talked about, it was almost his own fear that was talking more loudly than anything. But
Mhm.
this other one, he had external circumstances that were people starting to share their opinions, their concerns. I'm putting that in quotes. Oh, and a lot of times it's shielded in, I care about you. I'm giving you my opinion because somehow I think I know what's best for you. And
Mhm.
usually it's family, really people that are closest to you.
Closest.
Sometimes, yeah, right?
No,
Like
no, it's
spouses.
it's people that are closest that you would talk to about those
Yes.
types of situations, right? So
Right.
before we get into it, when I first started, I had two people specifically say to me, "Why are you starting that business? You're crazy."
Meaning the one that took him out of W2 world, guys. That the
Yes.
one that is what his
Yep.
main one was
Why would
that
why
brought him
why
down.
would you do that? That's not going to
Right.
make any money.
Right.
You're out of your mind. I'm giving like
And how did that feel when that happened?
I mean, with me, I believe because of some of the things in my life and because of the other things that I do, some of my invocations, right, and being
Sure.
a football official, right.
Yeah,
I
yep.
I I think in my personality, my attitude, I'm like, oh yeah, watch me, right. Like that's
Yeah.
just, that's
Hold my
kind of my
beer.
personality a little bit. Like once I get my head and my
Yeah.
mind set on something, I'm like, okay, I see you now. Watch me, and I'll see you in a few years or a few months, and that's just me, right. So but I would be lying to say for a brief moment, it's like,
Yeah, it hurts just a
oh,
little.
like, is this the right idea?
Yeah.
You
A little
know,
bit
am
of
I do
doubt, a little tiny, tiny seed of doubt, maybe.
Yep, yep.
Just don't
So,
water it, guys, if someone's throwing that in.
no, no, I just for me, I just ignored it. I just ignored it because I
Yes.
knew
Yep.
my desire, right, my
Right.
resolve, my what I
Mhm.
wanted was just too strong. It was too strong. So,
Yeah, your
pretty s
your wife and 2 sons and never wanting to feel that way.
yeah,
That's why we talk so much about why is there you could see them and you're like, "That's my priority." I wanna know that I don't have to think about or worry about how I'm gonna provide for those 3 people,
exactly,
most important people in my life.
exactly. So, back to the example of our other client, right, that, whom we
Yeah,
work with, he has outside influences
right.
that are very strong. They're very, very strong, and
Mhm.
they're vocal. They're very vocal. And, for him, we started working together about what we're yeah, we started working together about 4 months ago,
Yeah.
okay?
Mhm.
And when we started our work together, he was in a rut, right? And
Mhm.
revenue was lagging, motivation was lagging, um, and just he needed that little extra.
Sure.
So he enrolled in the program. We've
Mhm.
had phenomenal success.
Yep.
Um, and now because of some outside influences,
Mhm.
he's in a position now where he's saying, "Well, maybe I have to go on a break on this program. Maybe I have to take a break right now. I got other things going on. I got other things that." And I specifically I said to him, "No, no, no, no." And I
No
said, "No,
way, and call me right now.
yes, because
And not for selfish reasons.
not at
It
all,
no,
not at all."
to be very
Well. I
clear.
mean, Stay Space is doing just fine. Like I'm
Yeah.
not worried about that at all. And we've got plenty of other clients. So it has
Yep.
nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact that when we take a client on, their
Yep.
goals become our goals. And
They absolutely do.
he's tracking to them now. This particular client is tracking towards his goals. And I know that it's because of the work that we are doing together. It's accountability. It's
Mhm.
it's it's a shared group, it's a shared mindset. It's um, idea creation, and then
Yeah.
action. Like all of these
Yeah.
things are super, super important in having that
100%.
environment around you. So I know
Yeah.
the reasons why he's having success,
Mhm. Yeah.
and and I know that if he goes inactive for a little while, as he says, "Oh, maybe I should just do that," that he's gonna recede, right? He's gonna go back to the way things
Backtrack.
were. And I just don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see that happen for him because of the goals that he shared with me.
The reason that he would backtrack, it's no different. I mean, it can happen to Darryl, it can happen to me. The reason that happens is because the programming that is inside you is so strong that it wants you to go back into that scenario. It wants you to feel more, it wants you there. And it's not because it doesn't, oh, I can't believe my subconscious mind doesn't like me. Yeah, no, yeah, like I said, it doesn't care. It doesn't know. It does not have an emotional attachment to you. It just knows how to dictate to you to help you make actions, make decisions, speak certain ways to keep you in a certain state that you taught it. Right? So that's the reason why we know that when you step out of this work and you step away from people like us, everything else is going to start to come in and it's going to take over and it's going to bring you right back. And then he's going to come back and he's going to be clawing back out of another hole. And that we don't want that. We want you to keep moving forward because once you get past some of these humps, and there's always going to be another one, like, like I said, I shared one of my own a couple episodes ago. And it's their design to make me grow and let me tell you that circumstance is making me grow. Well, this is now his chance to make him grow. Do you
Yes.
want it? Do you really want it? Because the fear, actually, let me say this. You have the right to not ask other people's opinions about what you're deciding. You do not have to go to your friends, to your sister, to your brother, even to your spouse when you are starting to figure out what you're supposed to do in life. You just got to first know that. I'm not saying you're going to bulldoze your family and then pick them up and shock and awe. And I'm not saying that, but you don't need to go and get permission to
Mm.
think. And I think, because I've done this many times, that you think you go to get advice from people that have never done what you're trying to do, have never thought like you're trying to think, have never had experience with readings and studies that we do and the goal setting and the self image vision, stuff all the things that we do. No one's done that. No one's even had my own personal life experience. They may have watched me do it, right? The friend of yours who was like, "Are you nuts, Darryl? You're crazy. Don't do this." He knew who you were, but that was just him saying, "I would never do that." Oh my gosh, you're crazy?
Exactly. Well, what was interesting about the first one, not the second one, but the first one, um, I approached him. I approached him to be, when I was starting the business, to be one of my first
Mm,
clients
mm,
because he was a close friend from a previous job.
right.
And, I shared it with him. And to your point, his exact reason for not wanting to partner up wasn't necessarily, I think, any doubt in me, but maybe it was a little bit too because I was very new at the time. I don't know, but I know very specifically his
Yeah,
exact words were, "I would never do this because this seems risky." That
right.
that was his reasoning for not wanting to partner, and then that transition to, "Why are you starting a business like this? This seems risky."
Oh man,
The
but
amount
so is staying where you are.
Well, the problem is that the amount of people that don't take a jump because it's risky, like,
Yeah,
that this country was built on risk. Like, take a risk. Like,
right.
I love what you were just saying a little bit ago around you don't need to get permission,
No,
right? The reality is that this life is yours.
it's
This life
correct.
is yours. It's nobody else's,
That's right.
right? And respectfully, that includes your spouse.
Yes.
And they have their own journey. Your spouse has their own journey too.
Yes.
And the best thing that, a married couple can do is support each other when
Mhm.
they're on their journey and when they're doing something. I commonly say to clients when we're in a sales process and it's a husband wife duo, right? I
Mhm.
commonly will say, if I hear from the spouse, well, I need to go check with my
Mhm.
significant other. My response is absolutely. I talk about every major decision with my wife. I have a quick question though. Are you searching for permission, or are
Mhm.
you reaching out and speaking with your spouse out of respect? Because it's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. I have partnered and worked with clients who
Mhm.
have invested into coaching and mindset development work
Yep.
that have gone to their spouse for
Mhm.
permission and like I have to get the
Yep.
okay, I have to get the
Yep.
okay, and I have unfortunately have had people choose not to proceed because they had to go for permission and their spouse said no, and that is one of the most, to me, saddest things I think almost in life to me, right? It's like
Yep.
this person who I'm working with, who I'm talking to, has a dream, has a vision,
Yep.
and they're all excited and like, okay, I just have to go talk to my husband or wife or whomever. And then they come back on the call like the next day or a week, and they're
Yeah.
like, they just look so
Can't
deflated.
yeah, they do because that dream that they had, they gave in the power of it basically into the hands of another person.
Yep.
And when you I love what you said because when you go to talk to somebody and you're like, "Oh, I'm just sharing. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's catch up." And you're telling them things and you're sharing about stuff that's important to you. Sometimes I think we are looking for a bit of validation, right? You're looking for your friends, your family to go, "Oh, that's awesome." And when they don't, it creates maybe, like you said earlier, there's just that little,
Mhm.
maybe I shouldn't be doing that. And depending on how, when you hear that, you have to remember these people don't live your day to day life. Like you said, they don't, well, most of the time, they don't mean it maliciously. I hope that's not the case, but I'm
No.
sure it's probably not,
No,
right?
no, because you'll know the ones that are malicious. You wouldn't ask their counsel
You
anyway.
correct.
You
But why
wouldn't
are you
care what they
asking them counsel?
yeah.
Right?
It
That's why Darryl said, get in rooms, get around people who will give you actual counsel towards the goal that you're achieving.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
It
And so back to our second client that we're discussing, he is receiving, I'm putting in quotes, counsel from people who are concerned for him, who care about him, who love him, who know some of the inner workings of his life. And now that's starting to they're starting to be really concerned. So they're voicing it more and more and more. And it's starting to take a toll on him.
mhm.
Right? So how do you then, when you have that, and I have a little thing that I've started to really really just not I just don't tell people anymore. Just don't tell people what you're doing. Just do it underneath the secret of the cover of whatever. Talk to the people that you know are already doing it, but don't tell anybody else. Cuz then, and I know Darryl has a story about that. When you come out and you're like, guess what I've been doing for 2 years and look what I'm just using it as a number, but or even 6 months from now. Let's just say you're like, I've been steadily working. I have all this stuff lined up and I'm going to start this business.
Mhm.
What do you mean? And then your mom, dad, brother, sister is like, "What? Are you crazy? Why didn't you tell me?" I don't need to tell you.
I think I think it's important to know your personality.
Yeah.
So there was a reel that I found the other day, and I've been playing around a little bit, very very passively in all my free time, which is very minimal. Just doing some YouTube creation
Yep.
for my flying videos, right? I love to fly, and I like to do that. So I've been playing around with reels, and I found this really cool reel where it was the because I know my personality, right? So it
Mhm.
was a really cool reel where I was able to put pictures of flying behind it, but it started with the best advice I've ever received was somebody who said you can't, because my
Mm.
response to that was, "Watch me."
Mhm. I
So,
love
but
that.
that's my personality. When I showed it to Ashley, that's her personality too,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she
100%.
yep, and she immediately said,
She's
she
like,
goes,
"I'll tell me where we
"Yeah,
going?
tell
Just
me
tell me.
I can't. Tell me I
Tell me I
can't do it.
can't. I'm
Tell me
right
I
there with
can't do
you."
it. Watch
Yeah.
me." Right?
Yep.
So, and I remember when I started flying, I had a person who said, "You can't do that. You can't do that." Okay, watch me. Right? That's just my personality. So,
What if
when
it's
I
not your
had those
personality?
situations in the business, right, where people
Mhm.
said, "You can't," or "You sure?"
Mm.
Or for me, that just gave me more fuel. It didn't, there was certainly a
Sure.
moment. I cannot lie about it. There's certainly a moment where, even with my personality, I'm like, "Ooh, why are they saying that? Where's that coming from?" Right? Am I missing
That
something?
is
Right?
that a sign?
Yeah. Right? Is that a sign or a test?
Mhm.
We've talked
That's
about
right.
that. So,
Yep.
but my personality and my resolve didn't
Mhm.
allow it. Right? So, um,
What if that's not your personality, though? Because there's plenty of people out there
yes.
that it's not, and it is much more difficult, and that is why I truly think probably more people don't have that. That's why they're stuck.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. So if that's not your personality, you have to do the work that we are discussing, right? Because you're going to get naysayers.
Mhm.
You are going to have tough times. You're going to have criticism,
Yep.
right? You will face criticism with any venture, right? And the greatest, when I say venture, right? Any new undertaking, anytime that you're growing,
Yeah.
okay, you're going to face criticisms. Just going to happen. You don't face criticism, or at least you don't face as much, or it's more subdued maybe when you're in what your subconscious perceives as safe, right?
Right.
But you're not growing.
You're
But you're
just
not
stuck.
growing. You're
Yeah,
stuck.
you're just yep.
So you know it's gonna, if you don't like criticism, if you don't like that, and you're trying to avoid that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna stay in what's safe. And if those criticisms don't motivate you, here's how you escape what's safe. It's exactly what you said in the beginning. You need to get really tight on your desire, really tight on what you want, what's important to you, who you want to be. You only get one turn in this life.
That's it.
That's it. So, what's important? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? If you're working a dead end job and it's killing you,
Yep.
right? Then change. Then make the change.
Yep.
But
Yep.
a lot easier said than done when you don't do this work. So you need to get tight on your desire of why you want the change and who you want to
Mhm.
be, and understand that you don't have to understand the how right now. Just
No,
just
you
get
don't.
really tight on that.
Yep. And you don't
Then
even have to believe completely. You just
mhm,
you don't. So just understand that. You
yep,
could just have to make the desire the why.
yep,
And the desire and the why, excuse me.
yep.
Find it.
Decide, right? Decide that
Yep.
I'm going in all in on this. I'm
Yep.
going for it, right?
Yep.
And then hold your desire close, right?
Yeah.
And then you just take action. You take action a little bit every day, or a lot of it every day. Depends how big your desire is.
I'm
And just
telling you guys,
go.
when you start to do those little ones though and out of the gate, just even getting tight on your desire and your why, you're going to start to make bigger decisions or bigger actions, excuse me. You're going to take bigger strides. All of a sudden you're not even gonna realize you're doing it.
Yep.
That's the cool part,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
you're like you were describing certain things like about, your why and your reason. You didn't necessarily know the how, but you just started doing it. You bought the $3,000 worth of equipment. That was a pretty big decision.
At the time, I had no job. So just like anything I'm saying to do, I've done, right? So at the time, I was laid off. I had just invested into a mastermind, which was several thousand dollars.
Yep.
Okay. And then I went off and I bought a whole bunch of technology, roughly $3,000. Right? I had all my money to get
Amazing.
the business up and running. Like, I was in. I'm
Yeah.
going. Get out of
You're
my
doing it.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you start to do that, that's that reprogramming that we're telling you because you're going to feel that little anxiousness, just a little bit, and you're going to just keep because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And you're just by Darryl doing those actions, it fuels the subconscious to start to rearrange. It's like, oh, okay. So I need to forget what we've been doing here and put this in its place. Okay, I'll do that. And if you do that repetitively, that is the only way you're actually going to make change, is through how you think. So many folks think it's harder work, it's more reps, it's more all of the effort, the grit and grind, just grind it out. Really, you have to start in your brain, inside your mind. You have to start there, and every single day, just picture it. Picture what that outcome is. So when the criticisms come up, like he said, because they will, whether it's from family, friends, old coworkers, yourself. Let me tell you, I've had a lot of battles with me and me. We've had some doozies, okay, where I'm fighting against my own programming, and I'm like, no. But then the other side is being like, no, like it sounds crazy, but you know that you have those moments where you're trying really hard to push through whatever doubts and fears that you have. So do that. Do that every single day, just a little bit, and realize that the more you do it and listen to these podcasts, if you have questions and you're like, I need just a little bit more support, please reach out to us, because this is the stuff we love. We could do this all day long. We really could,
Yep. Yep.
because it's that important for us. Like Darryl said earlier, when you share a goal with us, we step alongside you with that goal. There's more power where more are gathered. That's why masterminds, mentorships, that's why we've created ours. That is why they're so powerful. Right? And it doesn't matter, honestly, it doesn't matter for our mastermind, our mentorship, just so you guys understand, it doesn't matter what your entrepreneurship goals are. It works for everything. It works on all circumstances with all different types of people. It doesn't have to be specific to one thing with that.
Absolutely.
So, fear of criticism all started with a beard, been
All
shaved
started
off,
with
and get a rhino skin, guys. Like skin,
yeah.
thick. Get
Get
real
get get
tight
a,
on your.
get a football official skin.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe actually that wouldn't be bad. Maybe I should start doing something like that. Maybe not football, but I gotta get used to being heckling and stuff being
You, you know
yelled at me.
you know what you should do? You
What's
should
that?
go and you should become a lacrosse official.
That would be
Because
hilarious.
then you would learn the game. So like I've played around with
That would
becoming
be
a
hilarious.
basketball official because Cooper has gotten really into basketball. And
Yeah.
for me, it's like I watch the game and I'm like, why is that a foul and that's not? Right. Like I'm
Right.
just, like I
Exactly.
so I'm like, I want to learn more about it, right?
Yeah.
So I want to grow. I
Yep.
wanna I wanna, learn more about that, which is gonna have its pains and I'm gonna receive criticisms, right? But it's
Of
like I kind
course.
of want to I think I might want to do that. I don't know. Like, and believe me, if I want to do it, I'll do it.
Oh,
Right.
heck yeah.
So yeah, but no, I mean, I said as a joke a few weeks ago to someone, I'm like, I think everyone should have to officiate at some point in their life, right? In some sport. Pick your favorite sport
I
and you
I
should have to
actually
do it.
don't disagree now that we're talking about it, because you really gotta be whatevs, even after when a parent or a coach or someone's like, "Come here, talk to me."
Yeah,
What do you want me to do, dude? It's done. Like, you
it's done.
you
I made a call. We're moving on.
we're
That's it.
moving on.
Yep.
Exactly. No, you're not gonna be perfect, but anyways, I digress. I
Yep.
loved this topic. Phenomenal. Um, Fear of criticism will come. Get real tight on your desires, on your whys, and every single day just get a little edge on achieving that goal, just a little bit. And then talk to us if you want to just chat and understand more about what we do and how we support others. We'd love to talk to you guys. But other than that, Darryl, have a great rest of your day, your week, and maybe we'll see a beard growing back here soon in short order.
Thank you. You too. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I don't.
We'll see how
We'll
it
see.
feels.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.